the Kryptonaut Podcast. I'm Mark Storrs, and with me, as always, is... Whoa!
Oh, my God.
Catman!
Who's the Puma?
That was
Puma Chris.
the explosive Jaguar.
And...
Rob Morphy.
Thank you for joining us. As always, the social medias, the Instas, the Twitters, the Facebooks, ratings and reviews are always appreciated. Boys,
And thoroughly enjoyed.
Raise your glasses.
I'm doing it.
We made it a year.
We did.
There you
Oh,
go.
my God.
Boom,
Hard to
boom,
believe.
Bang. There it is.
That has flown the fuck by.
I know.
It has gone quick. Thank you to all of our listeners, everyone out there. Thank you all so very much. All the support, all the great comments and direct messages and tweets and Facebooks and Instagram posts and everything. Thank you all
And
so very much.
Insta stories and, of course, gifts. Thank you
Oh, my
all
God, I know.
so much. We have been spoiled. Absolutely the best listeners in the history of podcasting.
Oh, my God,
Beyond
yes.
a doubt.
Fuck yeah.
We were just talking before we started recording. This has gone much better than we thought it was going to.
So glad people got it.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
still remember the initial meetings where
Oh,
we
man.
were like, people really take this seriously. This might go over like a lead fucking balloon. But we're like, we got to be us. This is what we are. This is what we enjoy. And thank God we found you sons of bitches
Yes.
that are on the same wavelength and can enjoy seriously loving and respecting the subject, but at the same time having fun on the fucking ride. And that is phenomenal. So thank you all so much for being there and then for showing the support and keeping us going. And honestly, it makes my week.
No, same
like
here.
just the good
Same
words from people, and this is something that obviously we love anyway, and we love hanging out together, and we're huge fans of paranormal and cryptozoological and alien stuff. But you guys sweeten the deal so fucking much. I'm talking to the listeners now that I can't even. A year ago I couldn't have imagined how much fun we'd be having.
No, same here. The reception that we've gotten from you guys has been great. We are far beyond appreciative. It's awesome. It's great. It's cool. But you know what? Let's get back to true form here. Let's get this week's episode started. But before we do that, we have an announcement to make. In the next couple of weeks, we're launching a Patreon. Oh! Bam, 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 bam.
That was
snap.
fireworks.
Bam, 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 bam. Fireworks. Patreon. Give us money. Patreon. Boom, 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 boom.
Wow, well done. It was like 6 4th of July.
Oh, my
I
God.
wish you guys could have seen
It's like the grand finale.
Oh, God.
All right, so we are going to be launching a Patreon. We will have more information on that in probably at the very end of the month. I think that we're going to actually launch it. But we're going to do a Patreon special episode to let you guys know exactly what you'll be getting if you donate to our Patreon. So be on the lookout for that. Like I said, about 2 weeks or so, we're going to have that up and running. That'll
Right
be
on.
going. So yeah, that's our 2018 right there.
Indeed.
Heading into 2019, 2018 was a weird year, but you know what? 2019 with the Patreon, I think is going to be really good for us.
Yeah, no, it was a weird year, but I think on a personal level, a really good year.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like, I had
totally.
so
Great
much
year.
fucking fun.
Yeah.
In terms of, just things that have happened and for a big part of it, it was this podcast too.
No, same here. This has been the best part
so
of my
I'm
year.
super stoked. I am super duper stoked
Yeah.
for 2019 and bigger and better.
All right, so we're coming at you with the 2-for-1 Mystery Bag Monday, and we're going to be getting started with the Georgia Stalks. In the summer of 1951, an amateur aviator had a terrifying mid-air collision with an unidentified flying object. But as alarming as this airborne accident was, far and away the most memorable aspect of this all-too-close encounter were the manifestly mechanical pilots who managed to navigate their aerodynamically challenged vehicle out of the Georgia skies into the annals of ufological lore.
I am so proud of you right now.
Dad.
That's called nailinit.com.
Did I make that?
Oh my God.
Oh man.
I want you to read everything I write from now on.
I feel like I just did a trapeze act.
I'm
Like,
so proud of
My
you.
neck hurts and my back is sore.
And dude, there was no neck.
Oh, man.
You just
All
did
right.
it. You owned
Awesome.
it.
All right, Robert, take it away.
Sometime in July of 1951, recreational flyer Fred Reagan was piloting his Piper Cub in the skies above Georgia when his tranquil flight suddenly took a turn toward the inexplicable. Always a bad turn. Following a bizarre mid-air impact that tore the tail off his plane. That's terrifying.
That's not an impact you want.
Nobody wants a mid-air impact.
No.
Like, if there's one thing you're doing when you're flying, you're thinking, at least nothing's going to hit me. I might fuck up. I might crash. There could be a million things that could go wrong. Nothing's going to hit me in the sky.
Yeah. Midair anything
Is not good.
Unless it's like a midair pizza delivery.
Yeah, mid-air
No,
pizza
never
delivery.
happens.
Mile High Club. It's a small list of
Oh,
good
yeah.
things.
I have flown a handful of times, and I can honestly say out of the 6 to 7 times I've flown, I've never once been even close to being sober. There were times that I was like, I might get kicked off of this plane. I'm so drunk.
I don't think I've ever had a drink on a plane.
Oh my God, dude. Well, I always hit the airport bar first.
Oh.
And then you know what? You know what the fucking secret is?
What?
NyQuil.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So whiskey and NyQuil.
Drink it.
So you
drink some
shouldn't be a
NyQuil.
problem.
Are you alive?
You should be a coma patient.
Yeah, I know.
I'm generally comatose trying to get beers. Like, you know how they're like, oh, you shouldn't take cold medication while you're drinking.
Of course.
I take cold medication while I drink.
Oh, my God.
Just to get through the flight. Just because I'm a fucking
Dude, why don't you
nervous
take some
wreck.
Xanax or something?
It's true. Well, did I take... I may have had Xanax and
Xanax,
beers.
whiskey, and NyQuil?
No, just Xanax and beers.
Because then we have a ghost. A partner on our podcast is a fucking
Yeah.
a living ghost.
So anyway, my general rule, and I will
Jeez.
give this to all of you, never fly sober.
That's fair.
Ever.
I've always flown sober.
See,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never flown sober.
I'll tell you what, I have a hard time sleeping on a plane. So when I went to South Africa, it was a long flight via London from New York, and 27 hours in the air with a 12-hour layover.
Whoa.
I did not sleep for any of it.
I would just be hammered. Just hammered.
I probably
been.
have a tough time too sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just be
like
drunk.
I
On
like
the way
my
home,
own
though, I
shit.
slept like a fucking baby.
Yes,
I
I
was
was
I was
drunk.
done not sleeping at
Yeah.
that point. But anyway,
All right, Robert.
we're dealing with Fred Reagan, recreational pilot,
Hit a thing.
midair,
Yep.
good things, everything's happening. Turn towards the inexplicable. His tail fin or whatever the fuck you call it on a plane
Gone.
knocked off. Okay.
All right.
Reagan knew he had been hit the moment his light aircraft began to shudder and spiral out of control. That's pretty obvious, but yes.
Yep.
But just as the plane began to plummet toward the Earth, its downward progress was abruptly halted by an unseen force. Both relieving and perplexing, I'd say.
Yeah.
Stunned and terrified, Reagan frantically looked outside the windows and was shocked to see a pulsating, lozenge-shaped UFO hovering above his Piper Cub. And I love the fact it was literally called
Lozenge.
lozenge shape. That dates it like fuck.
Yeah.
I haven't
It's a
heard
Socrat.
anyone ask for a fucking lozenge in years.
Pardon me, sir. Might you have a lozenge?
Could I pardon you for a lozenge?
My throat is feeling a little prickly today.
Oh, I love it. It's a fucking phenomenal word.
I don't know why is that. What the throat?
I love the roll. I can't even do it. I want to do
A
it so
10-second
bad, but
roll?
I can't. Yeah,
I know.
I can't do it.
Whatever the mysterious tractor beam-like force being exerted on his plane may have been, it was clearly emanating from this airborne anomaly. Reagan stared in terror as his plane literally broke into pieces around him, and he felt himself going into a free fall, convinced that this otherworldly vehicle would be the last thing he ever saw. But just when it seemed that gravity was going to have its way with him, Fred suddenly lurched upwards as if caught in what he described as a sticky, clinging force.
So just to clarify,
She
real
got
quick
tractor
here,
beam.
Yeah, let's paint this picture for a second.
Was his entire aircraft falling apart?
So, yes.
like puzzle pieces around
So-
him.
He hit something, and it feels like it was kind of ripping a little bit as he was spiraling.
Yep,
Okay.
the tail's off, so he's going into a literal tailspin.
Right.
All of a sudden, the aircraft is breaking up around him.
Oh, wow.
He feels it caught in this force.
Okay.
Then, as the pieces break up, as you know, entropy will be, or
Right.
an accident, and he feels himself just falling out of it. He's looking up at this pulsating fucking
Socrat.
yeah, basically.
Okay.
All of a sudden, he feels a sticky, clinging force that is preventing him from plummeting
Okay.
to his unseemly and very messy death.
All right. Cool. Awesome.
Fred Reagan felt himself being lifted from the twisted detritus of his annihilated plane toward a round portal that had surprisingly opened in the base of the floating orb. Once inside the craft, Reagan noticed that he was inside a faintly illuminated room surrounded by strange, glistening obelisks that stood approximately 3 feet tall and tapered toward the top and at the base. So
it's more like a crystal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then
So just imagine
obelisk,
a long
I guess,
straight
right?
obelisk thing that points up at the top, but also
Which they
tapers at
are-
the bottom.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Glistening,
Glistening.
glistening,
Like an oily muscle man.
Yeah, but a weird obelisk crystal
but
thing.
metallically.
Right.
Okay.
Men.
And I'm going to get to this. The objects also had metal, diamond-shaped attachments, which inspired Reagan to describe them as looking like huge stalks of metallic asparagus.
Metal,
So-
diamond shaped, like bling.
There's a drawing
Yeah.
that I found on the internet.
Rhinestone
You can find
cowboy.
it. So we're talking basically metal sticks about 3 feet high that taper at the base and at the top with diamond-shaped sort of attachments at the side and little flary metal things. So a metallic stalk of asparagus.
Yeah, I mean,
basically that's what you have.
what it is, yeah.
3 feet tall. Just that's what's wrong. This is the decoration inside said UFO.
Okay, cool.
When these steely stalks began to surround him, however, Reagan realized that they were not inanimate objects as he initially surmised, but apparently robotic or somehow some kind of synthetic entities.
Is this gonna bring us back to Steely Dan?
Steely Dan.
You said because he said
I
Steely.
did some research into Steely Dan, and they got some jams.
They're not bad.
No, they got tons.
No,
I
Steely
didn't,
Dan
I didn't
has a lot of-
realize all the music that they did, all these
Yeah.
popular songs, and I'm like, oh shit, that's Steely Dan.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, I had no
Steely
idea.
Dan fucking rocks.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Do-
All this time I'm like, oh, Steely Dan, scoff.
Just what, the name?
Yeah,
The name
and
for you?
I had no idea how fucking dope they are.
Sometimes
Yeah,
you have
gotta
to
dig.
listen to
You gotta
things.
dig with them. To
yeah. Well, but,
realize.
we'll get back to Steely Dan at some point, but Robert,
Steely Dan.
let's bring us back to some asparagus.
Yeah, absolutely. The big metal asparagus.
The best. Big metal asparagus.
Okay. So as he was surrounded, as I said before, by these robotic entities, apparently robotic entities, it was then that the understandably emotionally overwrought pilot fainted. Happens a lot.
Oh, these people keep fainting.
I don't know, but
Yeah,
if
I don't know,
Everyone
man.
is
All right, no,
fainting.
but you know what?
Passing
Let's-
out.
How many times you're fainting in your life?
fainting.
You're going to faint in your life not often, but let me say this. You're recreationally flying. Not professionally, for the fun of it.
Regardless.
Suddenly, some shit hits the back of your plane, you're in a tailspin.
Right.
Suddenly, you're not. It's in a sticky force, but the
All right.
shit breaks apart around you. You start plummeting down, you see the UFO that destroyed
Right.
your plane, you're dying. It captures you. It sucks you through a portal.
safe.
You're surrounded by
You're
these little fucking metal statues of asparagus, which suddenly fucking congregate around you. This is the one time in your life I will give you fucking complete permission to pass the fuck out.
No.
I mean, you should probably
you
stay
almost
awake.
died 3 times. Your plane's in a tailspin.
All right.
You
All
fall
right.
to
I
the
don't know.
ground.
You should have been passed
You're
out already.
sucked into a UFO, and then the asparagus walks.
Yeah,
These
no.
are the fucking 3 criteria for passing
I
out.
mean, I think you should be aware of your surroundings at all times and taking all the information that you can.
Okay, Johnny.
But that's
Pro.
just me.
Yeah, no.
That's
You're
just
supposed
me.
you look for cough drops when you're flying.
Yeah, clearly.
You would
Lozenges.
with your fucking NyQuil and whiskey, you'd have passed out before the plane took
I
off.
would have been dead hours ago.
Exactly.
Are you kidding me?
Stop
died just
judging
flying the plane.
fucking Fred Reagan.
Goodbye, world.
Goodbye, world.
I want to die in the clouds.
Nobody wants to die in the clouds.
Just nosedive the plane like, fuck it! Going down. Nah, not even a nosedive. Just pull that fucking stick back and just go skyward and be like, I'm fucking coming.
Oh, you're going for the
I'm coming, Jesus. I'm
thermosphere.
coming.
So you're going to Icarus your way into
Fuck
oblivion?
yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Because you know that's
Bet your
eventually going
ass.
to result in your death.
Yeah, of
You
course.
can't like pull the fucking throttle back, go skyward, and live forever
No,
in a
I'm
perpetual
going
fucking
fucking-
vertical
Dude, yeah.
flight.
Fucking heaven can wait, dude. I'm going there.
You want to biplane into space.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go to that
Yeah.
part where it's blue and black and be like, fuck you.
Oh, you're going to fucking suffocate in the stratosphere?
Fuck yeah, I am. That's how I'm going out, dude. I'm not going to flip the vet anymore. I'm going to suffocate in the stratosphere.
Wow.
No, it's about. Yeah,
Those
you know
are two
what?
good
I would
options.
respect you more if you flew into space.
Fuck yeah, see?
in a plane.
And I want Chris's respect, so I'm going to do that.
Did you put that on your Space Force resume? Just wondering.
did, yes,
Just
I
curious. I want to suffocate in space. As that is my dream death, I would be perfect for your Space
Yeah.
Force.
I need a Red
Well,
Baron
Mark.
biplane. I want to fly into space with it. I want twin
shit.
guns.
All right, so we got asparagus talking
Listen,
to this guy.
I would say
surrounding him.
that Fred Reagan was perfectly justified in passing out at this
No,
point.
he is. Fine.
I mean, he went through a lot in a series of moments, okay?
All right, Fred.
All right.
Reagan.
Reagan found himself regaining consciousness at the tinny sound of a mechanical voice coming out of what he called, and I don't understand what this technically means, an alien speaker. So is it just squid shaped? Is it?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that
No,
means
I
either. I just don't know. I mean, because speakers are fucking speakers.
If you recognize it as a speaker,
Then how
what
is it
makes it
alien?
alien?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the speaker.
I just don't know. Yeah.
It was an advanced Bose system, perhaps?
Oh, yeah, Ultra Bose.
All right, cool.
The voice spoke to him in English, employing an affected, borderline pretentious tone that conveyed to the aviator that the collision between the vehicle and the aircraft had been completely unintentional.
Oh, well,
You know, I
now
felt
you
maybe it was
see.
going there. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, we fucked.
Oh, we fucked
We
up.
fucked all the pooches.
But it's like
and
really,
they immediately try to correct it. Like,
it's a pretentious butler.
Yes, it was like,
it's Mr.
oh,
Belvedere
well,
trying
you
to
see,
fucking tell
we
you
are
that.
sorry for this crash.
it was
indeed.
unintentional, and even though it was your fault. But
Mr. Fred Reagan,
We used our
we
tractor beam and
indeed conclude that it was not our meaning to crash your ship, but it was yours. So fuck all the fucks off.
Fuck all the fucks
well,
off. is the
that's
theory.
what they say.
Fuck every fuck
But
off.
unlike us,
Here's some ham.
with the wonderful
Condolences.
butler accents, they actually took full credit for it. The mechanical vegetables claimed that their mission on Earth was one of peaceful scientific surveillance, and that they had traveled here for the sole purpose of observing the relatively primitive state of the human civilization.
See?
Oh, so we're a bunch of fucking
Bitches.
primates now,
Robots
yeah.
are condescending.
Elitist bitches.
They always are. Robots got to get off their high fucking horse and respect
but I mean,
organics
just
we
just
were right.
once.
Our voices were correct in
They
this
know
one.
we were, yeah, no, we
We
nailed
were
it.
just, looking at how
Yeah.
dumb you were.
Yeah, you
No offense.
You fucking stupid hellish apes. Look at you. Oh, yes, play with your poo. Play with your poo.
When metallic asparagus demands you play with your poo,
Yeah,
you
play-
comply.
You fucking play with
comply.
your. You play with your fucking poo.
The alien asparagus then informed Reagan that they had surreptitiously given him a medical examination when he had boarded their craft, presumably after he passed out, and had discovered that he harbored a series of cancerous tumors, a revelation which understandably shocked the pilot.
I don't want the fucking metallic asparagus telling me that I got cancer.
really?
I don't want that fucking. I want my doctor.
You're human,
Yeah.
non-vegetable.
Not like, oh, by the way,
metal.
enjoy the cancer, Fred.
Let's stop
Like, nobody
this.
wants that.
Let's stop this for a second and think about fucking poor Fred Reagan's
Well, yeah,
day.
he's fucking. Now I understand why you're fainting.
It's a casual flight. He's
Yeah.
doing his fucking thing.
It's your Sunday, dude.
Loop-de-loops.
Yeah.
Whatever he's fucking doing.
Fuck yeah.
Hit a UFO, tailspin,
Yep.
No.
plane breaks up, fall to your death,
Tractor beam,
tractor beam, UFO, living metal asparagus,
metal torpedoes,
unconsciousness, cancer.
Yeah.
It is a fucking shitty day.
It's fucking terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's up there with worst days ever.
Oh, it really is. It's garbage. In an effort to make amends for the accident that had destroyed his property and nearly claimed his life, the roboplants claimed that they had removed the tumors as, and I quote, a slight reparation for the loss that I have caused you.
Condescending
Slight.
asshole metallic
What? No,
asparagus.
that's a noble, kind thing.
Yeah, well, they probably didn't want to get sued. So like, oh, by the way, you had cancer, but we fixed it. We fixed it.
yeah. That's,
You're welcome,
Isn't that an easy
asshole.
way to
And you
get
know,
out of it?
you know that it was condescending. There's no way they're not condescending. They've already been condescending to him.
Either they legitimately cured his cancer, or they lied through their teeth because they
Exactly.
did not want to report this shit to their insurance.
All of your
Yeah.
lung cancer's been cured. Sorry.
Exactly. They probably had like a prime directive type of thing.
Yeah.
They did some fucking shit and they fucked up. And they tried to fix it, and they didn't want to deal with the consequences. Paperwork.
What
Yeah.
kind of lazy ass piloting, too? These are UFOs that ostensibly can go interstellar, that can travel at speeds that we can't comprehend, that can go invisible or whatever the fuck they want to do. How are you hitting his goddamn Piper Cup? Like, figure it out, fuck faces.
Stop paying attention, man.
Because you're just partying. Metallic asparagus parties.
No,
Hard.
I guess so.
The voice representing what has come to be known as the Georgia Stalks, that's the name that they've actually
Stalks.
been dubbed, then admonished Reagan not to tell anyone about the accident or his medical procedure for fear of ridicule.
See, this is all right.
So that's another way of saying, we cured you of cancer, but don't tell anyone about it. They'll tease you.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of
Yeah,
bullshit.
they won't believe you or detect any evidence that it happened or.
Because we were so good, we took out all hints
All
of
right.
potential cancer.
All right, well, we're gonna move on with it.
Although that may have been sound social advice, it surprisingly runs counter to most ostensibly extraterrestrial interactions, wherein the alien entities often encourage their human counterparts to publicly discuss their encounter, often imparting them a warning for the human race. And we've seen that time and time again.
Yeah,
Usually it's about pollution or nuclear holocaust or general human hubris or whatever the fuck it is. Hubris. But at this point, they're like, shut the fuck up. Don't tell anyone about this. Because obviously it's their bad, and they
Cut
don't
the
want
shit,
to get,
Fred.
they don't want to get back to their superiors. They just don't want it to happen. Following this lecture and clandestine surgery, Reagan once again lost consciousness, though this time it seems as if the state were induced not by fear, but at the convenience of his alien hosts. When he finally came to, Reagan found himself restricted to a good old-fashioned human-built hospital bed. The perplexed authorities told him that he had been discovered lying unconscious and shockingly uninjured in a cornfield surrounded by the flaming wreckage of his Piper Cub. Not far away from his prone form was the plane's engine, which had hit the ground with such extraordinary force it was buried 6 feet down. That's a big impact.
Yeah, that's pretty
You
big.
do not expect to find a survivor in this
No.
kind of situation. The medical professionals on hand all professed that the fact that Reagan had managed to survive such a devastating accident was nothing short of a miracle. The doctors treating him may have been a bit premature in their assessment of said miracle, however, when less than a year later, their patient's health took a sudden and unexpected turn.
They didn't get all the cancer? All right.
Hear about
Let's see.
Here is an excerpt from an alleged press report dated Atlanta, Georgia, May 16th, 1952. I say alleged because I've not been able to cite the specific newspaper source. Fred Reagan, who made headlines last year when he had been a visitor aboard a flying saucer, died today in the state asylum for the insane. Cause of death was determined to be degeneration of the brain tissue due to extreme atomic radiation. Authorities are unable to offer an explanation. So, that's not even a Twilight Zone Rod Serling twist.
No.
That's just like a dead up, depressing fuck
He got
off.
fucking radiation from the aliens?
He survives a plane crash
Yeah.
midair, gets sucked into a fucking alien craft, ostensibly is cured of cancer. Let's finish this up.
All right.
While the Georgian authorities might have been at a loss as how to diagnose Reagan's bizarre neurological affliction, there are a handful of ufologists who feel that, in the case of the pilot who almost died, the alien cures employed to keep the pilot both cancer-free and prevent him from falling to his death might have, in the long run, been just as lethal as the situations they were designed to prevent. No. And that is the story of poor Fred Reagan and his
Shit.
terrifying brush
Yeah.
with death that resulted in, apparently,
All right.
the degeneration of his brain to such a point that he was institutionalized and killed by atomic fucking radiation.
Okay.
Amen.
All right. Well, I mean, obviously, skeptically speaking here, we can say that this poor man survived a fucking plane crash to only later in his life develop Alzheimer's and get some weird...
Oh, not Alzheimer's.
Or not Alzheimer's,
No,
but some
degenerative radioactive
radiation.
brain decay.
Okay.
Whatever
that
that
sent
means.
him spiraling into
Yeah.
madness.
Okay.
So is he lucky to have that extra year because he should have died
Right.
in the accident? Or was that year a torment of madness and hellish incarceration in an asylum, resulting eventually in a terrible, terrible death?
From a skeptic point of view, he just happens to survive a plane crash to later die of this for some unknown reason,
Yes.
skeptically speaking. I guess...
Which part of that is skeptical, for the record?
To say that it wasn't actually aliens, it's just that he just happened to survive a plane crash and then later just be exposed to some form of atomic energy where it destroyed his brain.
Doesn't that sound more absurd than the actual incident as it's described?
Possibly, but
Well,
we're
the
talking
chances are the
skeptics.
same,
Well,
technically.
no, not really. Not unless he landed
they
on
are.
a pile of mattresses in a nuclear reactor. So he survives the crash and then gets
Yeah.
super irradiated.
Surviving the crash, I think maybe there might be something there where he could survive it. You're right, though. The chances are low.
In all fairness, if an engine is buried 6 feet into the ground and the flaming wreckage of your plane is all around you, you do not land unharmed in said cornfield or wherever the fuck you landed in.
No, but there's room for something to happen.
Oh,
This is
explain. No,
not the
I love
fun.
it. I love it when someone says there's room for something to happen and then
Yeah.
just let it sit there as if that's good enough.
Well, I mean, if let's say that this thing was tail spinning, right, and let's just say that he was controlling it as it was tail spinning, and he just happened to get tossed from the plane.
At 10 feet up with no momentum.
I mean, it could be maybe even higher, especially if he passed out and he was all like limp and limber. You know how they say like you're supposed to just go with the fall. If you're all limp and limber, they end up making it.
As a drunkard who has flipped over some porch railings and other sundry things, yes,
Yes,
I'm aware of the safety of being limber.
There you go, being limber.
But it's never been from 10,000 feet.
So, but skeptically
I don't
speaking,
think
though,
limber
that's
helps you at that point.
That's a lot skeptically
Well,
to,
max
to
velocity
say
is
that.
max velocity.
Yeah, I mean, if yeah, exactly. So it's a lot, but again, we have to always look at the skeptic view and say, okay,
I'm
what are
all
skeptics
about
going to
it.
say?
I just think skeptically. Listen, you can say anything you want about the glowing lozenge, the goddamn metal asparagus, the curing of cancer. All of that could be bunk in some way. What I'm impressed by is that kind of damage done to an airplane and a survivor being there unharmed. No broken bones, no apparently
Yeah, no,
big enough
that's the
contusions.
one thing that's a definite physical. He was in a plane and crashed and survived.
Right.
Purportedly.
Right.
Yep.
At a pretty decent distance. I mean, engines are probably pretty fucking heavy, so I don't know how they have to be. I don't know how fast they would have to go, but it seems like it's pretty intense.
Yeah. I mean, 6 feet down in dirt. It takes some momentum. It takes some force to, push something into the earth that deep. And of course, we're assuming the report is true. Mm-hmm. There's always the chance that there's some bunkery happening.
No,
I was
yeah,
not
they're-
able to find the source of the newspaper
Yeah.
account. But assuming it is true, I'm very impressed that he survived unharmed. Like, that to me almost is what makes the rest of it credible, because unless he had a hallucination where he was saved by his guardian angel and implanted memories of metal asparagus were put there for whatever fucking reason, it doesn't make any sense that he was able to survive this.
No, not at all.
And then the twisted, horrible irony of apparently surviving a plane crash, then being cured of cancer, then dying of a degenerative atomic radiation-infused neurological disorder or whatever that ate up his brain
Right.
until he was so crazy he couldn't be allowed in the public, and then eventually resulting in his death. That's all fucked up. And you have to assume, if what happened is how it happened, that he was exposed to said radiation from extraterrestrial technology.
Unless somewhere he was exposed to it just in his normal life. I don't know how.
Yeah, well, it doesn't explain.
Yeah,
Well, there's tons of people that work at like 3 Mile Island and other nuclear plants, even
Right.
places that have accidents. You never hear about degenerative radiation
no,
caused
you really don't.
madness and death. I'm not saying it couldn't be possible. Maybe after Hiroshima it happened all too often. I don't know, but I have never once heard of that as a medical condition.
No, it's weird, which is why I like.
Yeah.
I wish there was more kind of info on those medical
Yeah.
records.
Well, that's another thing that adds to the shadiness of this, because you would
Yeah.
expect,
that's pretty.
first off, a guy who survives a plane crash like that should be national fucking news.
Yeah,
Like
Totally.
yeah.
big time national news. And then secondly, if he ends up dying a year later of a really mysterious disease after claiming to have been abducted by extraterrestrials, then you expect scientists would come out of the fucking woodwork to figure out what happened, how
Yeah.
it happened, if the radiation is something that they can identify as something earthbound, how he got exposed to it. The lack of information here is the most
That's the
damning
problem.
element.
That's the
So
problem.
I'm curious
Totally.
that this all happened. Did he who did he report this to? That he was like, oh yeah, by the way, this is what happened to me when I was in this plane.
Well, apparently the local reporters, again, from the newspaper source that I was unable to find.
Okay.
So that's again part of the problem. So
All right.
he was talking to
So
reporters.
we have some holes.
He survived.
We got some holes.
He told people
Well,
apparently
yeah.
how he survived through the mercy of the aliens, and then who apparently cured him of cancer. He must have been like on cloud 9 at this point.
Right.
His plane's destroyed, but he's alive, and oh yeah, I had cancer and I don't anymore.
Well, let's okay.
and
So
then that slow decline must have been just such a crushing disappointment.
yeah, yes. Okay, so we've got some room to be skeptical of this guy's story.
Oh, surely.
Well, there's
A lot
always
of room.
well, there's always
All right.
a little bit of room there.
There's a couple of big holes here, but let's go to where it's fun. Where the aliens cure you of cancer, but then they end up fucking killing you with their fucking beam weapon accidentally.
If it's like alien tech chemo, and they're just like, phew, in the 4 minutes you were fucking asleep, they managed to fucking like blast out all the
Yeah.
fucking like little tumors in your body.
Yep.
And then not realizing that, oh yeah, just like chemotherapy, except with hyper alien technology.
You melt his brain.
The fucking exactly.
All right.
The cure is worse than the fucking disease.
You know,
Yeah.
I feel like if you have tractor beams at that point, you know what
I would think
radiation
you would know what
does.
it would do. Yeah.
Yeah, and who knows
All right.
what kind of crazy magnetic field type shit is a
That's what
tractor
it
beam.
was.
We don't know what a tractor beam is.
Right.
But it
Yeah,
stops.
I know.
It stops the plane.
I'm saying that term, but I don't know what that means. Really,
No,
I'm
I
saying-
mean, because we
same
know
thing.
it from
Star
Star
Trek.
Trek,
Yeah.
and we know it from Star Wars, every science fiction thing ever. It doesn't actually exist that we know of, Solar Warden,
Oh.
but you would think it would be some sort of magnetic field in principle, and magnetics can wreak havoc on physiology. So,
Yeah.
so it could have been the beam itself that caused the ultimate damage,
Right.
saving him from falling to the earth, but ultimately creating this degenerative condition that ruined his life and led to his death.
So do we think that this guy is a miraculous survivor of a plane crash, making the story up? Or do we think that he was, in fact, saved by aliens only later to be killed by their technology?
I kind of err on the second side.
I don't know.
I'm kind of going to go towards that he was actually saved by the aliens only to be destroyed by their technology. Chris, what do you think?
There's not enough information.
Okay, all right.
I don't
solid.
like who was he?
Solid.
Where did he work? What did he do? What was
Right.
happening?
Yeah.
It's true. Tracking down Fred Ragnan has proven to be very difficult.
Why couldn't he just fly a plane?
Other
Was he just-
investigators
Yeah.
have had a really hard time finding out who he is and his
So
personal
maybe it's
history.
bunk. Maybe it could be bunk.
It could be a pile
Or
of bullshit.
he's just a victim of alien technology buried in the friggin' annals of time.
sweet irony.
Anal.
There, annals, right? Annals
No,
of time.
the annals of time's better. If you're buried in
Annals-
something, it might as well be the annals.
Time anal.
Dirty.
All right.
Dirty.
Okay, cool. Continuing on with our second story, the CARMEL WALKING SQUID. In the winter of 2014, something contemporary, a married couple driving near their Ohio home had an all but head-on collision with one of the most anatomically inexplicable creatures that has ever been reported.
Facts.
Ever?
Facts and science.
We got a walking
Ever.
squid.
I'm familiar with a lot of things that have been reported. Not all of the things. Who could be? I'm merely a man. But of the many, many things I've heard of reported, this fucking anatomical anomaly
All right.
is among the fucking weirdest.
Anatomical
Well, it's a walking
anomaly.
squid in Carmel.
The old Carmel walking squid.
Carmel.
I have no trouble saying that word. Carmel.
No, never.
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 Carmel.
All right, Rob, paint us a picture.
You got it. On December 18th, 2014, the Highland County Press of Hillsboro, Ohio, published an account by Mutual UFO Network investigator, that's MUFON for the layman, Ron McGlone, regarding a strange report of a bizarre bipedal beast that was almost struck by a motor vehicle just 6 days earlier in Carmel, an unincorporated community located in Highland County. The event in question concerned a 59-year-old former Marine who was driving his wife home on Friday, December 12th, 2014. The anonymous eyewitness set the scene and explained that the thing he had seen was not his first local brush with the inexplicable, stating, "We recently bought a place in the Fort Hill area, which is located in southeast Highland County. We first noticed after about 30 days of living here that we suddenly have a perfect circle that stays fresh green no matter what weather in our front yard." So that means snow,
Okay, weird.
whatever else.
Here. That's not true.
Skeptical Chris is coming out of his cave.
No matter what.
No green.
It reminds me of the Kansas circle. What do they call it? What's the circle from Kansas?
I have no idea, man, but this is kind of a cool
circle
crop
from
circle
Kansas?
situation.
Anyway, in the 70s, there was a circle in Kansas that stayed there a long time. The wife of a farmer touched it. Her finger remained numb for the rest of her life. One of Alan J. Hynek's top assistants went out and photographed it. It was glowing. It had like this powdery circle glow, and the snow would not show there. It's in Kansas, and
Is it still there?
I'm not a super expert. No, eventually the farmer, the kid that actually
The
found
farmer.
it, who inherited the farm from his parents, got so sick of spectators coming, he had it dug out and replaced.
You cannot
destroyed
replace the
it.
magic
Now,
circle.
granted, samples of the powder and the grass and everything were taken.
Dude.
And the grass was found to be hydrophobic, which is not that it had rabies, but that it resisted water, which
Yeah.
is one of the reasons why snow couldn't accumulate there.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Which makes me think that, despite my lack of specific knowledge about the Kansas case, that this is similar in that it seems like this round patch of grass, which really will not apply to the rest of the story, but I'm bringing it up because he brought it up,
Sure.
is hydrophobic in the sense that
Yeah.
maybe something landed there. Oh, by the way, the Kansas story, there was a UFO above it.
Okay,
I
cool,
neglected
cool.
to mention
All right.
mention the most important part.
Yeah, no, that's important.
I'm sorry. They
That's
didn't just find a
important. No.
circle that had powder. There was a UFO there spinning.
Dude, 6 magic circles, dude.
Oh,
6
made by the blood of the
Made by
kings?
the blood of the yeah, 6 magic circles, dude.
I
Made by the blood of the kings.
might have missed the most important part.
Yeah, you did. You missed the Man of War part, dude.
Oh my God, there's 4 kings of metal, dude.
Fucking- yeah.
4 metal kings.
Hail and kill, dude.
Dance on a string. Oh, sorry. That is really obscure.
Baberto,
Kansas
continue.
aside, there's a fucking piece of grass on this guy's property that will not have snow.
Stubborn.
Maybe it was a UFO.
Okay.
Maybe it's fertilizer. I
Who
don't
knows?
know. Okay. Whether or not the snow-defying patch of vegetation is related to the other anomalous events in the area is a matter of pure speculation. What is an established fact, however, is that the allegedly alien animal that the driver nearly hit was unlike anything the veteran had ever seen. And this is what he had to say. On Friday night, we were driving home. After turning on Carmel Road, which leads to our road, we went around the curve by the Carmel Church and then up a small incline, and approximately 10 feet over the incline in front of our truck, the quote-unquote alien ran across the road and into the woods. This unquestionably crazy critter was described as gray in pigment and approximately 7 feet tall, with gangly, muscular legs that bent backwards at the knees. The thing had a narrow torso and appeared to lack both arms and a head. So let's enjoy this for a minute.
It's fucking torso and stork legs
So it's-
running the fuck around.
Yeah, it's just like weird bent backwards legs.
Why don't you and Chris take a look at the eyewitness illustration, which we'll be getting to in a moment.
All right, cool. So Chris and I got the picture here. Boy, that's interesting.
Let me. Yeah.
Now you guys see why I dubbed it the walking squid.
Yeah, totally.
That thing is just all torso, no satisfaction.
Instead, yeah.
Okay.
No, it's gross.
Yeah, it's grody to the max. Although she was apparently looking down when the swiftly moving monstrosity narrowly avoided their car, the unnamed Marine's wife confirmed that her husband was a credulous witness and further described what he had seen. My husband saw it. He is a skeptic, almost 60 years old and a proud Marine. He wouldn't have admitted to seeing it if he hadn't been in shock. I had him draw it for me, hence the illustration we just looked at, when we got to the house. He says it was asphalt gray. She clarified that the asphalt in their driveway is actually gray, and about 7 feet tall. No arms that he could see, but muscular in the legs area. No jawline, and its legs were bent backwards as it leaned forward as it ran. On a personal note, the eyewitness sketch resembles, to me anyway, the head of a giant squid connected to the lanky legs of a large bird or ungulate, hence our designation as the Carmel walking squid. Now, ungulate, just to break it down simply, is hoofed mammal. Wildlife biologist Kurt Bros, B-R-O-Z.
What up, bros?
That is the ultimate frat name.
Yeah.
Like, that is the king of all frat names. Wildlife biologist Kurt Bros presented the website Doubtful News with his hypothesis regarding what he believed may be the true identity of this alien life form. He proposed that what the Marine actually saw was nothing more than a white-tailed deer walking on its rear legs, according to Bros. Deer will reach up and walk on two legs for two reasons, mostly relating to male competition. I assume that means battling.
Yeah,
you know,
I've seen
battling
that.
for the ladies,
Yep.
or reaching food. They normally don't walk that far, but there's no reason to assume a male couldn't at least appear to have walked upright as far as the witness claims. While it would almost certainly be disconcerting to see a deer perambulating bipedally across an empty stretch of road, I think it would be difficult to mistake its distinctive brown and white coat for gray skin, and even less likely that any observer would neglect to note its head or forelegs. And that's just my opinion, but
Yeah, no, that's a little.
if you see a deer walking on two legs across in front of your car,
Yeah, no,
It's
I know.
weird.
I've seen. Yeah,
it's fucking weird.
like I know it's a front, but from the side, I mean, they're.
I mean, look at that one from the side. We're looking at the pictures now. It's fucking odd, and it would throw you off.
But if you like, if the front legs were down,
Yeah, if the front legs were down,
if they
secure to
weren't
the
like,
side,
reaching for something, yeah,
and its head were like twisted away from the car, maybe. And it was old and gray. I don't know. Did deer go old and gray? But when I look at the eyewitness's
old
sketch
and gray, yeah, maybe.
and compare it to the photographs of bipedal, deer and antelope, I'm pretty sure that that was not the mistake made, unless it was the headless horseman of fucking deer, which is a possibility.
Could be.
No, it could be Sleepy Hollow as fuck. I mean, we don't know. Others have suggested that the real culprit might have been a large bird, such as a blue heron.
Oh, a heron, yeah.
And I don't always say that word right. I'll admit that.
Shout outs to Eddie Lloyd.
Absolutely. Or egret. But Bros contradicted such arguments by stating that egrets don't normally overwinter in Ohio, and our small whitish birds, a great blue heron, would certainly match the color of asphalt gray mentioned by the wife of the witness, but would not be anywhere near 7 feet tall. Based on what I know about their behavior, I would also assume that they wouldn't find one running across a field quickly. They tend to walk in a slow, bobbing manner, or, needless to say, fly. Bros also felt that although emu, ree, or ostrich might match the general height, color, and weird leg hinging described, they were likely too bulky to be the culprit. He also noted that the nearest ostrich farm was about 174 miles away and that any escapees would have had to have made the treacherous journey through Columbus and the freeways around it, where it was unlikely it would have gone unseen. And that's true.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty dense traffic
I mean,
area.
dude, never take the emu off the table.
We never do.
All right.
Maybe, but like, are there ostriches like
The
just?
devil, the floozy, or the emu are always on the table.
Always keep them on the table.
Absolutely.
That table's a fucking party, dude.
Oh, yeah.
It's a sweet fucking table to be on. Fuck yeah.
Needless to say. Those with a more open mind have pointed out the fact that the CARMEL walking squid bears an uncanny resemblance to a series of creatures that have been filmed in both Fresno, California and Yosemite National Park, which are colloquially referred to as night crawlers or walking sticks.
Ah, these are some of my favorite.
Oh, the
Absolutely.
walking
I
sticks.
love the
They're
crawlers.
they're
The
so
night crawlers are so cool. Walking
fucking
pants.
creepy.
Dude, walking pants.
They
Yeah.
look like puppet. They look like hammer pants with heads.
You know,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
That's
totally do.
100% what they look like. And it's always like shitty, grainy nighttime,
Well, of
night
course
vision
it is.
video.
Well, yeah, of course. Has to be.
Now I've seen like experiments done by YouTubers where they've inverted the footage and embossed it and did all sorts of things that were there to elucidate any strings if they were apparent or whatever. But
Right.
of course, it could be fucking CGI. I want it to be real just because it's so weird. Other people have pointed
is
out
weird.
there are Native American sculptures of trees that have like long, bendy bow legs with little nubs at the top, and they think this might be a traditional homage to these creatures. We will definitely get into more when we do our night crawlers episode, which I know I promised a lot in the future, but we will come through with all of them.
2019, you can expect a Fresno's Nightcrawler
And,
episode.
and the Yosemite night crawlers as well. Just a pile of night crawler
Yeah, totally.
shit.
Totally.
But anyway, they pointed out that these things kind of look like, though I have to admit, the eyewitness sketch is not spot on. It has like rounded, bulky, muscular legs at the top and like really thin calves, I
Right.
guess. The legs
Yeah.
bent backwards, but they're very bird-like in that sense.
Yeah, so yeah,
but
that's
the
what it looks
body
like.
looks like a lumpy, rounded torso with like a diamond-like tip that is very reminiscent of a squid to me.
Okay.
In the end, the eyewitness, like so many others who have experienced something that exists beyond their accepted view of the world, wants nothing more than an explanation that will ground the unexplained event in prosaic reality. In the veteran's own words, I would like to get this information out in your area in hopes that maybe someone else has seen it, or that their giant crossbred ostrich got loose, or
Yeah.
something. So that's the final word on it. He's like,
All right.
please let it be something natural. I'm fucking almost 60. I just bought a new house with my wife. I got this
Yeah.
fucking circle that refuses to have snow on it. What I don't need is walking sticks.
Right.
Walking goddamn fucking squids.
Yeah.
In my neighborhood. I don't need this shit. I just want you to tell me it's a goddamn bird so I can get on with my life, read AARP shit and watch fucking the History Channel.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's going to be disappointed because he might have actually seen some truly
Well,
anomalous shit.
I mean, I like the idea of it being a deer on its hind legs. I do like that idea, but there's room.
There's always room. When you have one account of anecdotal stuff,
right.
that's all you have.
Yeah.
What
So
really-
so you either say it's all true, it's all not true, or some's true and some's not true.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's all you have, and then
Yeah,
you can
you're
either,
right.
you have to pick and choose from those
Right.
what you want to.
I mean, terrestrially speaking, if he did misidentify a deer on its hind legs, which I personally have never seen a deer on its hind legs, but I have pictures here on the old internet to show me that there are, in fact, deer on their hind legs.
All right, you can look up on YouTube and you can see deer on their hind legs, like doing their
So,
shit.
I mean,
but-
okay, that's a possibility. But you know what? Again, not fun.
Well, it's not fun.
It's not a fun. It's not a fun possibility.
And it's not like super credible in the sense that it's very hard not to recognize a deer. Now, granted, it walked across the road very fast.
Yeah.
Though why it would walk across a road by people?
no, yeah, generally
mysterious.
they don't do it randomly.
No, they do it to get food that's
get food
high,
or like attack
or, yeah, or
purposes.
exactly, to get their antlers in a
Like
position
they're,
where they
they're
can
not
whack.
like we gotta get across quick. Hey, two legs. Like they don't just walk.
Unless if it was something where it was bad, if it was a buck battling another buck and it was across the road and it reared up and just happened to go.
So a full-on
full-on-
bipedal charge.
like before
Yeah.
across the road, it
Yeah,
went bipedal.
It
and
went
just
bipedal
booked.
and just booked. Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm gonna try something new.
And
no
what's
deer's
interesting
ever done
too
this
with
before.
deer is when they do
I-
from. I mean, I'm not a deer expert, but I've definitely
Aren't
seen
you?
enough. I'm definitely not. I've seen
Amongst us, amongst the three of us, you are the deer expert.
Okay, so generally when things have horns like that, when they do charge, when they rear up, their heads go sideways because they come down with their fucking horns.
Yes.
Their heads don't stay straight. They turn their heads.
Yeah, no, they
And
both
then
do. They both
and
do a
then
side
kind of
kinda
come down on the
dealio,
side of it.
but-
So, all right, that's a possibility.
Well, you'd think you'd see
But-
the antlers too.
Well, you would think exactly that you would see that. Did the guy see it absolutely so quick that he had no idea? Possibly.
Sure.
I mean, we live in a small town with a pretty decent deer population where
There's a lot of deer.
I
Every
still
time
get
I
shocked.
drive home at night, I see deer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every
There's
fucking time.
tons of fucking
Like
deer.
where
up
I
here.
live and like where your sister lives in that
Yeah.
area
Oh,
alone
it's
is
just riddled.
literally filled with fucking deer.
Dude, I see deer every day in my backyard.
Yeah, exactly. So we see them a lot, and I still get kind of like not shocked, but I'm like, oh, holy shit.
Oh no, to
Especially
see
at night.
genuine wildlife.
Yeah, nature.
It's always
Oh,
there.
it's
Like
nature.
I do. I feel the same way. I'm like, oh. And
It's a
I'm
deer.
always like this like cheesy like happy Disney kid like, be safe, guys.
Hey guys, be safe.
Don't run in the road.
Don't get shot by a fucking hunter.
Eat
Yeah.
plenty of foliage.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you're looking. They're always safe. They're always looking around. Their
Yeah.
tails
Yeah.
are ready.
Super cautious. You know what they're never doing? Walking on their fucking hind legs.
I've not
Ever.
seen one yet walking on its hind legs, and
mean-
I would say out of a week I probably see at least 5 to 6 deer, at least. I mean, between work and home, I see deer all the time.
But even acknowledging the fact that it is provable that this is a phenomenon that they do. They have done it.
They do.
Right. And
yeah.
maybe occasionally they've walked across the road. I still have a hard time believing that it would look like a gray, headless, armless, squid-like, I guess, thing, because that's the only way I can describe its top part, with bird-like legs.
right?
Yeah, unless it was a
just-
heron, but herons don't usually buck.
Yeah.
No,
and-
like,
well,
I've
that,
not-
well,
Ostr-
that was the thing that bros emphasized. Like they move slowly, they
Yeah,
bob,
they
tend to
they
fly.
don't.
Like an ostrich,
and we have
too,
we have
would do
herons up here. A few like
Yeah.
Montezuma.
Yeah, I've seen
I mean,
them,
you've
yeah.
seen herons. It's pretty cool. You're like, that's just too big.
It's
Why is
too
it in
big.
the air?
I know.
Right.
Fuck off.
If I saw a
But
condor,
no.
I'd probably shit my pants.
Yeah, they're pretty impressive.
All right,
But-
so let's take that possibility is there, but also too the possibility is that it could be some sort of extraterrestrial and or cryptozoology creature, right?
No,
Does that
yeah,
work?
No, it could be a cryptid. It could be an alien.
Cryptozoological-
That's a cryptozoology creature.
I mean,
I'm an
that's,
expert in the field.
that's a long-winded way to say it. I'll admit.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys haven't caught on by now, there's one cryptozoologist on this podcast, and it's Rob.
yeah.
And the
Listen,
rest
we
of us
just drank all the beer we just got.
Literally.
So
yes,
we did.
that's
can
just
the
what we do.
judgment
Yeah,
and just
all the
deal with
beers
our
have been
awesome.
drank.
Enjoy what's
There you
happening
go.
as I sip my whiskey.
Yeah. So shout out Jeff Caldwell.
Yeah.
So the my cryptozoological angle.
Are you having a hard time with that
aside-
word,
I
man?
can never say
What
that
the
word.
fuck is
No,
wrong
no,
with you?
I- it's all right. Let
Just
him-
say, just do it.
You focused. You did good.
Cryptozoological.
Oh god damn it!
Lee.
It's like you're pretending to be drunk.
No, I can't say that word. I
All
really
right,
can't.
all right. Assuming it's a cryptid, can we leave it at that?
Let's do that.
And I'm inclined towards that for a couple of reasons. One, no evidence of a UFO landing,
Right.
no sighting of objects in the sky. Whenever we see something bizarre that is clearly alien in the sense like an alien big cat, like it's foreign to that area, and that seems to be foreign to fucking Earth, it's easy to assume that it's extraterrestrial. But with a lack of any corroboration that there was any UFO flap at the time or anything else, it's difficult to land on that for me.
Right.
Now, that having been said, I can see where people be also very skeptical of a cryptid theory, because if there was a cryptid, where are the legends in the area of the goddamn walking squid or whatever
Right.
they want to call it? Because it's just my assumption. That's the name I gave it.
The
but
closest thing that we talked about to a walking squid is the octosquatch.
Yeah.
yes, and
But
this
that's-
is
and that's
a
different-
completely
that
that's a
covers
different
hair.
small, furry,
Yeah.
not 7
that's
feet
totally
tall.
different.
Right, but that has multiple things.
Right.
This does
This-
not. You're talking
no,
about the
the-
top
yeah.
feature of this.
Yeah.
That's why you call it that.
That's why. That's why I gave it the
Now, although
appellation.
Ohio, though, that is the Ohio River Valley, and that is actually like a hotbed. We've had all kinds, from like frogmen to
Other things from Ohio include the indescribable Octoman. That was, of
oh,
course,
that's right,
right.
yeah, that's
utterly
right.
describable, but still
Completely
indescribable.
indescribable, yeah.
No, there's tons. Literally, Ohio is riddled
Right.
with apparently cryptozoological, sometimes extraterrestrial, allegedly, creatures. And it is definitely one of the nexus points, at least in the continental United States, of fucking weird.
Yeah.
Beyond a doubt. So, so the fact that this happened there is absolutely apropos. And it has to open up the potential, if there's not really a continuing legend of creatures like that, there's no evidence of a UFO, well, what's your jam?
Yeah. What could it be?
Interdimensional.
Oh, really? Wow.
I know that's a catch-all. I know
God
it's like
damn
the
it.
equivalent of saying fucking
damn it.
a sorcerer said so. It's magic.
Dude.
But when something appears that is not clearly of the traditional biology of Earth,
Right.
and there is no tradition of it continually existing in an area and having been seen. I mean, if something crosses the road, it's like Sasquatch or something. You see it time and time again. This is a one-shot deal and a fairly recent one, granted, so maybe more people see it.
2014.
No, it
you
is.
have to be open to the possibility that this came from some nether
Right.
and was able to slip back out.
Or
because
may-
this is just fucking weird.
If you just happen to catch a glimpse of it moving into our reality, then out of our reality, ooh.
Yeah, but why
then
would
what?
why though?
I don't know.
Why would that
That's
even
the
happen?
magic of the interdimensional theory. You don't
Oh,
know.
you're such a dash.
Such a dad.
Magic.
Yeah, you're such a dash.
Magic dad.
So, all right. So, Rob, what do you think it is?
I really, it's difficult. It's difficult because it does seem like it would be extraterrestrial biology. Listen, I don't know that it is a squid. It's a weird, lumpy, faceless, headless, apparently, armless torso on legs that look like it could be either, like I say, a hoofed mammal or a bird. Apparently walked across the road so fast that the wife did not see it, but the husband did. He was so struck by it that he admitted to it publicly and drew this picture that is, and let's be honest, an eyewitness sketch, especially by a non-professional observer,
Yeah.
is not necessarily going to be like a spot-on photograph of the thing.
Right.
It's just an impression, but it still captures something that is utterly unlike anything that fits into traditional earthbound biology. So I can see why people assume extraterrestrial, because you think if it's alive and it can't be here, it must be from there, being space, another planet, whatever. But there's nothing that confirms that. There's nothing that confirms the dimensional portal either, except the fact that fucking Ohio is batshit crazy with monsters and weird shit.
Right.
So I'm going to just chalk this up to Ohio in that it has the potential of like Loveland Frogman and fucking whatever else of weird shit that is continually happening. Sometimes it comes from the water. Sometimes it runs across the road in the woods. And you have to deal with it. When you go to Ohio, that's the fucking deal.
That's what you deal
all
with.
bets
yeah.
are off.
Interdimensional Ohio. Christopher, what do you think this is?
Yeah, I don't know.
And there we go.
It,
And that sums it up completely.
it doesn't seem overtly amphibious in any way. It's got things that are of terrestrial. I mean, it does.
It's
have
got legs.
legs that are like birds, and like I said, deer can do that. But then
Okay.
it's got like if you don't see arms or head,
Okay.
I get it. But if it was a quick thing, your eyes can fuck you in many ways, and it does every way,
Yep.
every day,
Every way.
in,
Oh,
way,
yeah.
in ways you can't even imagine. So
I can't believe eyewitnesses are even allowed in courts.
dude. I can't.
Yeah,
I know
seriously.
it's
we
fucked
are
up.
garbage observers.
Yeah.
As a
Yeah.
species, we suck
We're pretty
so
terrible,
bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
We shouldn't be allowed to see.
No.
not
We
at
should
all.
just donate our eyes to science.
Yeah.
Or just use them exclusively for like movies, porn, and like family events.
Yeah, there you go.
Because we are not responsible observers as
No,
a species.
not at all.
Period.
No,
Not
no,
at all.
it sucks because you can't control that part of your brain that makes you discard things that are not important.
Oh, you can't at all.
That
Right.
it thinks are not important.
I love the fact that all of us have this individual illusion that what we are recording is objective reality, ignoring the scientifically proven fact that everything we see is interpreted by our brain and made into a movie that is created by our own genetics and neurological, fucking synaptic connections. And that's it. We are all living our own individualized movies where we're all, I mean, in your world, we could all look
for
like
the
what
most
I
part.
think are gargoyles. But in my world, we all look like pink monkeys. And our terminology might be the same simply because
No, I know. I
we
hate
have
that
We've done
rabbit
that. We've
hole.
done
I
that-
think
that whole
about it all the
thing.
time.
Where we're red is
know.
blue and blue is red, but we
the
don't know the
colors,
difference.
you don't know if everyone has ever seen
But
the
we
same
all
color
are
anymore.
No.
making an individual movie out of our own perceptions constantly, and it makes interpreting
Sucks.
reality useless, except for when we can use it to build cars and high definition TVs.
I know.
And cure cancer. Yeah. So in that case, it's good to buy it. Even if it's bullshit, because there's enough progress and enough pleasure we can get out of it and enough longevity and everything else that it's worth it to ignore the fact that we're all basically a bunch of hairless apes that are making our own Spielbergian epics in our head based on nothing.
Well, we're trying. But we're trying our best. Verifiable things. And if it's all verifiable, then that's okay. Right. That's a start, and that works for now.
But I've always been dubious about consensus reality. We went off topic a little.
Yeah.
Let's draw this back home to fucking walking squids.
I'm going to say that reality and our perception of reality aside, you both fucked up because I'm going with demon. So, boom! There you go.
Support your theory.
Dude, classic fucking demon.
What's your thesis?
Weird legs, no head, weird fucking thing running across the road.
Define your
classic
demon. Weird legs.
Classic fucking demon.
No feet.
Dude, that's enough.
You look up Hieronymus Bosch paintings of demons. How many weird headless great demons do you see?
I gotta say,
not the Hieronymus Bosch's reality.
I have looked at Paradise Lost or whatever the fuck these paintings are called many, many times. I've got books that have fold out spreads. They're fascinating and terrifying, and I will grant you that there is a Boschian quality to this fucking thing.
Absolutely.
Not that Bosch is reality, but as we just recently discussed with reality about as far as what we perceive as reality, this could be perceived as a demon. In fact, it is from hell. Our Lord and Savior, Satan. It is from hell.
Oh, Sherlock Holmes.
First off, you made me a Satanist, so thanks.
Yeah.
Secondly,
guess what? We're out of the closet. We're all Satanists. Congratulations.
Yeah, well, kind of.
Yeah, no, really, I guess I can't argue with you.
Traditional Satanists.
We're traditional Satanists, so there you go.
Do we get to bang fucking Jay Mansfield now?
Yeah, you are the closest. No, we hit Anton LaVey. So
I want to define myself as
me and Chris, I'm going to be playing the pipe organ and Chris is playing the drums. There you go.
If Anton LaVey ate John Candy, that would be me. So yes, I get that.
Praise the Dark Lord, it was a demon.
Oh, Lord. All right, I don't know if I can support that theory. I don't think crazy legs, weird legs, to quote you, is enough to give me the diabolical definition. I am still going to say this. I really do think Ohio is a part of the fucking world that is just prone to weird shit. I don't know if it's its geography. I don't know if it's a fucking one of those infernal triangles that Ivan T. Sanderson talked about. I am not sure why. But there is a nexus of fucking weird that seems to be basically not within the concrete borders of Ohio, but the general area that it occupies.
Right,
and that having been said, I think strange things that should not, like say the indescribable Octoman only had one appearance, or a series of appearances over a couple of days, but then was gone.
Yeah.
The green clawed beast of Indiana was part of the river system, the Loveland frogmen, on and on. And
these could all be demons from
They could all be demons, but they could also just be
demons.
They could be things from parallel dimensions or other places.
A parallel dimension
called hell.
Could be hell.
Oh, God damn it. All right. They're from hell. Fine.
Listen, we're talking about reality. We're talking about perception. We're talking about Satanism. These things can all tie together in one big, tiny, awesome basket of sweetness.
Sometimes volume wins.
Accept it.
Well played, sir.
I'm going to say that I do agree. I do completely agree with your assertion that Ohio is weird and full of strange shit.
Fuck-uppery.
Yeah.
Lots of it.
Fuck-uppery.
It's a pile of it.
So whether it's an alien, whether it's a demon, whether it is a fucking deer on its hind legs, you know what?
Or a Native American spiritual creature that can somehow manifest as the night crawlers and walking sticks are sometimes associated with.
Yeah.
So we have a consensus of
nothing
at all.
No. You're going demonic because you're partial to it.
I love the
Chris said
demon.
blimp because you love to infuriate me.
Yeah.
And
it's a fucking blimp.
And I'm going with Ohio's just fucking weird.
All right, so weird Ohio demon blimp.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, fucking
In
sweet.
fact, that makes just nailed it.
Yeah, weird Ohio.
It's a weird
blimp.
Ohio demon blimp.
Awesome, cool. There you have it. Thank you for joining us for the Kryptonaut podcast. Once again, guys, let's raise our glasses here. I have nothing in it, but it's no big deal. 1 year. Boom. That is to demons,
cheers.
Blimps, and fuckery. There you go.
God damn it, it's been a fun year.
It has been a fun year.
Hopefully, there will be
Just keep talking.
many more to come.
Yeah,
many
and
more to
as
come.
we mentioned, we do have a Patreon campaign that we will be launching in a few weeks, so keep your eyes open for that. And
I know
we're going to have we're going to do a Patreon specific episode for everybody, so we kind of go over everything all at once.
Like bonus episodes, all sorts of shit, all sorts of
kinds
gifts,
of fun stuff,
really affordable, incremental.
Yeah.
steps. I mean, genuinely
And
affordable.
we've been working on
Like
this for
dollar
like,
store affordable.
Like the last 3 months, we've been kind of working on this. So this
So
is
even
we're pretty
though
excited.
It's definitely
it's
well
pretty dope.
planned. There'll be modest amounts of money involved, awesome gifts and extra content.
Yeah,
that's
extra,
pretty brilliant.
more content.
Some of which I might say might include ones that we were so absolutely drunk we couldn't quite manage to wrap it together.
Yeah, it's okay.
We
It
never
happens.
erased those pods, but we never released those pods. But maybe in a special magical way, if you pay for it, you'll have the privilege of seeing what happens when we break down fundamentally.
Yeah.
You get to pay to hear us completely fuck the pooch.
For the
Completely.
privilege of hearing inebriated
Yeah.
cryptozoologists,
Yeah.
and yes, we all are. It's a conferred title. I ordain you to as cryptozoologists.
Hold on.
All right.
Or at least
geez.
paranormalist.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, okay.
Can I give Chris is a paranormalist.
Can I be a paranormalist?
You're an
Yeah.
interdimensional
All right,
scholar.
cool.
fan? You're an interdimensional fan.
Thank you for joining us, and we're talking to you soon. Laters.
Oh, yeah. Keep an open mind. It might just be you that's next.
Always hail and praise Satan.
Oh, God, don't do that. Avoid that. It's just a bad call.
Say it. Hello and welcome to. Oh, try it again. Hold on again.
Dying after dying to be dead.
Well, welcome to the tuberculous half hour.
All right, hold on. Ready?
Welcome to Consumption Daily.
Hello.
Consumption Weekly.
Consumption Weekly.
Here we go.
Old-timey death in the Old West.
All right, we'll try that again.
Is
Here
there
we go.
blood in your mucus? Good sir.
Are you pooping blood?
Oh, the Doc Holliday homage hour.
Nice. All right, here we go. Ready? It's a Doc Holiday homage hour. All right.
The alien cures employed to keep the pilot both cancer-free and prevent him from falling to his death might have, in the long run, been just as fatal.
Faithful.
Fatal and lethal, all in one word. I was trying to switch here.
Oh my God.
Christ on a-
Faithful attraction.
Oh, good Lord. Faithful. Do you have a faithful condition?
Faithful.
I'm going to start that from the beginning.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Cover your dink.
I love my great nephew. Fuck it. Cover your dick.
I'm trying to hear the music behind it. I'm like,
No, I know what that is. The one thing is not
you're like,
enough.
and then you, and like, where's the beat?
Throwing the dink around. Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Now you're bringing it.
Okay, I needed the vocals.
You were not giving enough.
Yeah, I needed the vocals.
It's like an ACD. It's an ACDC beat. Cover the dink
Oh.
around.
Cover the dink
around. Wait a see. Yeah. Dink around. Do the dink. Sit down.
Please tell me you're recording.
No, that's recorded. Around. Throwing your dink around.
Oh my fucking God. That really happened.
I was really just doing shoot to
was the-
thrill.
yeah,
but-
It's shoot the thrill, but it's throw your dink around. Yeah.
I love it. It's just the finest adaptation I've ever heard.
All right.
Hi, I'm Justine, the Big Gamoosh,
And I'm Santiago, the other gamoosh.
and we're the hosts of Weird With You, a quirky podcast where every Wednesday we discuss a weird topic of conversation for your amusement,
Like that time we talked about our unconventional celebrity crushes.
or when we ranted about working in retail hell.
There was also some mention of plastic pants, snakes on planes, folklore, and something about beaver anal glands.
And every so often, our old pal Chris Walken drops by to answer your questions.
Never underestimate the power of a pocket square. It'll hypnotize you.
Join us every week for new episodes on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and other podcatchers. And follow us on Twitter at weird_with you.
Shadow for you!